Yeah, so big shout out to Briar from Briar's Music Showcase. Congratulations to him for, of course, winning my trivia contest. In fact, he kind of blew the contest out of the water, if I have to say so. He did really, really well. And also tomorrow, as I'm speaking right now on Saturday night, pretty late night, and so tomorrow, I believe, is Briar's birthday. So definitely go over to Briar's channel, Briar's Music Showcase, and wish him happy birthday and all that. Anyways, and I wish you happy birthday, Briar. Briar's been such a great friend, one of my best friends that I've met on YouTube, and he has such incredible knowledge of music. I'm always impressed with how much he knows, and he's a guy that I always go to because I love hearing his opinions on music, and so he's always one of my favorite people to have a guest on or whatever to talk about music. Anyway, so yeah, so that's Briar, and so yeah, we're talking about Harry Potter, and yeah, I've been a big Harry Potter fan. Not right away. It was not until I was in college actually I got into Harry Potter, and the first Harry Potter book, which I have here, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or in England they call it Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for some reason. I don't know why there's a difference there. If you buy it in the United States, it's Sorcerer's Stone, and the movie is called the Sorcerer's Stone, so I always refer to it as Sorcerer's Stone. Anyways, obviously, hugely successful book. You see on the back there, it has all the awards there. New York Times bestseller, USA Today bestseller, Publisher Week's best book, winner of National Book Award, gold medals, Smarties Prize, all these incredible awards. Obviously, incredibly successful book. The book actually was written in 1997 by, of course, J.K. Rowling, who wrote the whole series. Start with this book. This book is 223 pages. It's the smallest book of them all. You see, it's pretty thin. It's a pretty easy book to get through. Just a really good introductory book to Harry Potter and the Wizarding World. And as the books go on, they get longer and longer, and we get more world building, which I really enjoy. This is definitely more of a kid book, I think, compared to the other books. Obviously, Harry Potter is 11 years old in this, so it's definitely more family, kid-friendly book, I would say. Not to say I still enjoy it today. I've read this recently and still enjoy the book today as an adult. But when this came out in 1997, I was actually in junior high, and I can remember people talking about, there's a lot of buzz about Harry Potter. I do remember people talking about it, but and I was in high school, I remember, and yeah, and some people were reading it, and I don't know why, it was weird. I never really cared to read it when I was in high school, even though I like fantasy. So it would have been a book that would have been right up my alley, and I should have read it when I was in high school. But there's something about when I was in high school, I guess my thoughts on Harry Potter was that it was like a kid book, and I guess I was feeling as a teenager, I was feeling like I wanted to read more adult type books. Like I was trying to read like classics like Moby Dick and Three Musketeers and some of those, older classic books, because I wanted to be like this really well-read reader kind of thing. Though I found a lot of those books to be pretty boring, couldn't get through them. And I went through some other fantasy books like Lord of the Rings, of course, and The Wheel of Time were some big ones that I was starting to go through. And yeah, so Harry Potter, I remember people talking about it, but I was just like, that's for kids or something like that. I don't know why. I just had this idea that I was too old for it, even though I was just a teenager. Anyway, so I kind of just brushed it aside, even though it was like really popular at the time. And so of course, yeah, it's incredibly popular. One of the most popular books ever written. Sold 120 million copies. I mean, incredible. Third best-selling book of all time. I mean, third best-selling book. I mean, this thing sold like hotcakes. And J.K. Rowling's first book, she wasn't a known writer. I think she was an English teacher or something like that wrote this for fun. And just amazing job that she did with this. And really took the world by storm. I mean, today it's probably most famous or most, as far as like books sold, it's probably sold more books than any other fantasy series, I would think, out there, at least in the last 25 years or whatever. But yeah, so then of course, obviously, this movie need to be made of this book. It's so popular. When you get a book that's popular, you have to make a movie out of it, especially now that's very. Of course, fantasy series do very well now. And it was an interesting time. They made the movie in 2001. So in 2001, I was actually a senior in high school. Yeah, I was probably about a senior in high school when that came out. Senior in high school. And Of course, it was hyped up. A lot of people couldn't wait for this movie to come out, which I'll show here. Of course, I have the Blu-ray of it. There you go, of everybody. Um, yeah, so it was an interesting time because definitely fantasy was starting to hit really hard at this time. When I was in high school, I mean, even when you think of like superhero movies, were really starting to catch on with X-Men coming out, I think around '99, and X-Men 2 coming out just a little bit later. And then Spider-Man came out in like 2000, and that made tons of money. And they were really kind of showing that, oh, technology is catching up to where we can do fantasy and do CGI characters and make him a main character and do it well enough to make some of these fantasies come alive anyway. So it was a really cool moment at that time when all these fantasy stuff started coming out. We also get, Star Wars, Phantom Menace in 1999, and Matrix also, I believe, came out that year. So, I mean, we're getting these incredible sci-fi fantasy series with great special effects, just, really impressing everybody. Also, I believe in 2001 came Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, based off of a famous, of course, book series from long ago. And that was huge and did very well as well. So yeah, so it was a really cool time, just the right time to make these Harry Potter books. So everything just kind of came together, I think, really perfectly. Interesting, I just tell a little bit of my story. So yeah, I didn't watch the movie because I didn't read the book, and then I didn't care about the movie for some reason. I was just like, it seems like a kid's movie or something. I don't know. I just didn't care to go see it. And also being a Christian, like the church I was going to was definitely like, there's definitely this backlash against Harry Potter in the church, especially ones I was going to, where they thought it was witchcraft, which is considered, kind of evil in Christianity. Witches are the satanic cult, like, whatever. And so there was a lot of backlash of, Christians saying, don't read the books, don't watch the movies, and all this. And I wasn't like part of that group because I was like, it's probably just, a good versus evil type story. There's nothing evil about it. Some Christians took it too far, I think, and everything's evil. Like Halloween's evil. Like I don't think Halloween's evil. I don't mind Halloween. And there's stuff like that. But yeah, so all this stuff was going on, and so I was like, So I just kind of brushed it aside. And it wasn't until my sophomore year in college, actually. So we're talking, 2003, 2004, whatever. At some point, my mom and my younger sister, Harry Potter, and the first two Harry Potter movies, this Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, I think it was down like Christmas time or something like that, or Thanksgiving or something like that. They showed both movies on like TNT or something, one of those channels. And my mom and my younger sister watched it, and then they talked, or my mom called. One time I was talking to my mom or something on the phone, and she's saying, "Oh, we watched these two Harry Potter movies, and they're really good." Like, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't seen them." She's like, "Yeah, you should really see them." I'm like, "Okay." Like, and it was surprising because my mom, I thought, was the last person that would care about, Harry Potter, because the whole, witches and stuff like that, because she's very religious, of course, like my whole family is. And I thought she'd be against all that, but I was like, oh, my mom's okay with it, so it must not be that bad. And so when I went home, visit home from college, I watched both movies back to back, and yeah, I was taken right away. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I love the fantasy style, I love the world building, I love the story, especially the whole Voldemort storyline. I thought was just great, like how they explained this evil wizard, and I love the he can't even say his name. They won't even say Voldemort. They say he who won't be named or whatever. And if you say Voldemort, people they shiver. Like I thought that was a brilliant idea. Like, oh, that really tells you how evil this person is, and so how scary they are. That they're so evil and scary that people won't even say their name. Such a brilliant idea. But anyways, yeah, I didn't know anything about Harry Potter, and watching the first two movies back to back, I was just like, wow, I was like really into the story, into the characters. It was of course very family friendly, the first two movies, I would say, and I kind of enjoyed that though in a sense. But yeah, and maybe it's because I was watching with my family, so it was a good family time get together, watching Harry Potter with my family and all that. And so yeah, I was definitely taken away, and it's just like, wow, I was all wrong about Harry Potter. I'm like kind of like into these stories, and there's like good mystery, there's good twists in the stories, and the characters, there's some funny characters in there. There's, you know, the CGI and all that, and I thought it was really well done adaptation, even though I haven't read the book. So it was after watching the first two that I was like, okay, I need to start reading these books. And that's when I started. At that time, I can't remember exactly, but I feel like maybe 3 or 4 of the books were written by then. And we only had 2 movies at that point, and the third movie was about to come out, I think. And so I was starting to read the books and catching up with the movies at that point once I watched those first two. But anyway, that's how I got into Harry Potter personally. And I've read the book series probably 3 times now, and I still love it. It's my favorite fantasy series as far as books go. It's just incredibly written by J.K. Rowling. That even though I think at the beginning it's kind of more kidly, I guess, and it gets more grown up because the characters are growing older into teenagers. I still enjoy all of them as a 40-year-old adult. I still read these books and watch these movies, and I'm still into them anyway. So just incredible job by J.K. Rowling, in my opinion. But yeah, so getting to the movie, it was directed by Chris Columbus. And Chris Columbus, I looked him up one time. He did a lot of family-friendly films. I believe he did Home Alone. I think he did the 2 Home Alone movies that were really big. Those are absolutely huge movies, of course. And he did some other stuff that was pretty big. I can't remember on top of my head, but he's a really well-known director, and I thought he did a good job overall with the movie. Like I said, he definitely fit in because he was dealing with child actors and stuff like that, and it felt like he was really comfortable in that kind of being the director there. The writer, Steve Kloves, who wrote like most of the Harry Potter movies or adapted them, and does just a really amazing job, I think, adapting these books into these movies. Of course, we're starring Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, as he does for the whole series. And I'm just going to talk about each movie. I'm going to just talk about the new characters after this, but these are the main characters, so I'm going to have to talk about them. But yeah, Radcliffe playing Harry Potter. Rupert Grint plays Ron Weasley. Emma Watson plays Hermione, and those are the 3 main characters that you really follow through the story. Of course, Robbie Coltrane, the late Robbie. There's so many people that have died now. It's just crazy. Michael Gambon just died a couple days ago, who played Gandalf, Dumbledore, and from third movie on. Anyways, and so, but yeah, Robbie Coltrane, great performance playing Hagrid, great character. Richard Harris, of course, plays Dumbledore in the first 2 movies. Really good performance, I think. Maggie Smith, one of the great British actresses, playing McGonagall. Alan Rickman, late Alan Rickman, probably the best performance of all of them, playing Snape. Ian Hart is in this one playing, now I'm forgetting the name of the character, but he's the Defense Against the Dark Arts character anyways, in this movie. And then Warwick Davis I put down because he's, of course, most famous, probably little person actor there is, playing, I think, Mr. Flitwick or something like that. One of the teachers anyway, so. But yeah, there's many more characters, but those are the main ones I wanted to highlight to start off this movie. This movie did get 3 Oscar nominations, 1 for Best Set Direction, 1 for Best Costume, and 1 for Best Musical Score for John Williams, who gave another just amazing score. It's like anytime you have any kind of fantasy series, I mean, it seems like, of course, you already got Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and now you got Harry Potter thrown on there. It's like, gosh, this guy cannot miss. Anytime he's involved, it comes out this incredible score. I mean, that dun 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 dun. Oh, just incredible, theme to the whole movie that goes throughout. Anyways, but yeah, those are 3 Oscar nominations, no wins. Movie did absolutely incredible. It had domestically 318 million and worldwide 1 billion. So I mean, it hit the 1 billion mark. That's how successful the movie was, and just how obviously a lot of hype around it. It was a big IP, and everybody was, especially kids who were reading the books at the time, and so many books were sold. So yeah, it was just a perfect time for that movie, and it was just, yeah, it did incredible. But yeah, so just give some of my thoughts on this first movie. Of course, the first movie we get Harry Potter, who doesn't know he's a wizard, and then finds out that he's a wizard, and finds out there's a school called Hogwarts, and they're in England, of course, they're in London area or whatever, and he finds out that his parents were wizards who were killed by this evil wizard named Voldemort, who then tried to kill him, but it backfired and it almost killed him, and Voldemort's disappeared for the last 11 years, whatever. And Harry Potter has a scar, as a lightning bolt scar on his head to signify where Voldemort attacked him. And so Harry Potter is this famous, most famous wizard, and he doesn't even know he's famous, which is an interesting dynamic. And then this is his first year going to Hogwarts. He makes friends, of course, with Ron and Hermione, and we learn about like how Wizarding World works and the school works. And then the Sorcerer's Stone is something you think Voldemort's going to get to come back to life, and so they have to stop it at the end anyway. So that's kind of the basic storyline of that. And so first I'm going to go with my positives of this movie. I think one of the big positives to me is just that it is a really good adaptation of this book. And partly because this book is so small, of course, like I said, 223 pages. So I felt like it covered everything you needed in this book. I mean, it didn't need because of how small this book was, I think it was a lot easier to adapt into the movie. And they were able to include so much of the book into the movie. It didn't feel like, watching the movie, you don't feel like, oh, they missed this part, or they, really missed this character, or missed this scene. I mean, obviously you're not gonna get everything, but for the most part, it covered everything you wanted in the book. So I thought overall, really great adaptation of the book. You really feel like it was the book. And that's important because sometimes you get movies or TV shows that are terrible adaptations of the book, and you watch it and you go, wow, they totally did a bad job. So I appreciate when they do a really good job. The source material is the most important thing. You need to be true to that source material. So I really appreciate how good they did with that source material. The second big positive for me was the overall cast. The cast was just perfect overall. I mean, you couldn't do much better, and a lot of that is because of the supporting characters. And I'll talk about the main three actors in a little bit, but I'm just going to talk about the supporting actors. Incredible. I mean, you couldn't do any better than what they did. And a lot of that's because they just got the greatest British actors around at that time. Seems like there's all these great British actors, of course, out there, and it seems like they snatched them up. I mean, Maggie Smith, one of the greatest British actresses, I think, of all time. Alan Rickman, amazing British actor, should have gotten an Oscar for his role, I think. Not in this movie, but overall for the whole series, he should have got some kind of Oscar. His Snape was just perfect to the book. Like I said, they're all perfect to the book anyways, but I thought Richard Harris, was a great Dumbledore, really put out that character the way I thought it was in the book, much more than Michael Gambon. I hate to say that, rest in peace, Michael Gambon, but I prefer Richard Harris's performance in my opinion. Robbie Coltrane, not like a real well-known, he's more of a comedic stand comedy actor, I think, but does such a great job in this role. It's like, wow, incredible. But yeah, overall, love the British cast that they got in the co-stars, I would say. Third, I would say I thought it was a really funny movie. I thought they did a really good job with the humor, and it was just an enjoyable film overall. Just like I said, really good family-friendly film. I love Robbie Coltrane. Of course, he's, like I said, comedic actor, and some of his stuff is pretty funny. I love when he tells him something he's not supposed to, and then says, "I shouldn't have said that." And he does that a couple times, and of course, that always kind of makes me chuckle when he realizes, oh, I said something I shouldn't have said. That was top secret, and all that. Yeah, so I think they do a good job with the humor overall in this movie, and through the whole series, I would say, but definitely this movie. And yeah, it's just a real fun movie overall. Then my fourth positive I'm going to say is just the overall production value is really good in this movie. As far as musical score, I already talked about. Great musical score, got nominated. Again, sets got nominated. Sets are really great. They really made Hogwarts come alive. Not just the movie, all the other movies, but these are positives probably for all the movies, but since it's the first one, I have to point it out. Just love the sets, and Hogwarts especially. It's just a really great set that they developed there. And then also the costuming is wonderful. I think they do just a really good job with all the costumes. And so all that, very, very good. Now talk about some negatives. I do have some negatives about this movie that hurt the movie a bit for me overall when I compare it to all the Harry Potter movies. And the worst one really is just the CGI is terrible. It is really horrible CGI, and it really stands out more now. I think at the time I didn't notice. It's just now looking back at it, especially when there's the Quidditch scenes where they're flying. Oh, they don't look like them. They look like just CGI characters, and badly CGI characters. Like, they don't look like really Harry Potter or Draco or whatever. Yeah, when they fly, it just really takes me out of the movie every time. Especially the scene with now I'm gonna forget his name, but the guy that always screws up all the time, and he has the toad through the series, and he's always kind of the butt of all the jokes and stuff. There's a scene where he accidentally flies and then falls down and gets caught or something, and man, it's terrible CGI. It did not look like him at all. That was a bad scene. The other bad scene is the troll. When the troll comes in and they have to fight the troll is a terrible CGI character. Like, I was like, wow, that was, that really takes me out of the movie when I'm watching, going, wow, that's hard to watch. It's so bad. And it's a time when, I don't know why, because like I said, Fellowship of the Ring came out this year, and it's a different company, I'm guessing, because it's Weta Digital, and this was, I don't know what this was, but this, I don't know if this ILM or whatever, but Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring is the special effects are great and still work today. The CGI characters still work really well today. So I don't know why it just didn't work as well there. And you look at other movies at the time, I don't know, they just weren't caught up yet with all the good CGI at the time. So yes, CGI hurts the movie for me. Other thing is the kids, I think, were bad actors. And it kind of takes me out a little bit when I'm watching it. Dan Radcliffe, it's like his second movie he ever did, but obviously the first major part he's ever done in a movie. And he's young, of course. First movie for, I think, Rupert Grint, first movie for Emma Watson. And they're the main three. I mean, they're taking a lot. I think that's the good thing is they have all these great adult British actors to really help the kids and cover up the bad acting of the kids. And like I said, that was a big positive. But it is somewhat negative watching going. Some of the line readings and expressions just were not good for those three main actors. Rupert Grint especially really loves to, really over exaggerates his looks to where it's annoying, I would say. And yeah, so yeah, that was bad. And the other negative I'd say is that the first part of the movie I thought was kind of slow moving and not that interesting. I as I'm rewatching it, I thought it really doesn't get good till Hagrid shows up. So there's a little bit of a span of time, not like a long, but still that first, I don't know, 15 minutes or 20 minutes of the movie is just, your Harry Potter's living with his aunt and uncle who are horrible human beings and treat him terribly. And we see that, he sometimes does magic on accident and talks to snakes. And then you get the whole, all the envelopes coming in, the owls coming in and dropping off envelopes, and the uncle taking them away, trying to get him away from all that. And then Hagrid finally shows up. And so to me, it's a little slow moving at the beginning. I'm a little like, I just want to get to Hogwarts, because that's where it's really good. That's when the movie's really good, when you get to Hogwarts and you discover the Wizarding World. The first part is just learning about Harry's situation, I guess. Yeah, and Hagrid comes in, that's a great moment when he comes in and he learns about, and of course, when he learns about, his background, all this stuff. So I would say it's a negative, just that it takes a little long to get good, in my opinion. So overall, I'd say it's still an enjoyable movie, still one I like to go back to. I won't give a rating right now. I think after I do all the movies, then I'll rank them how I think they should be. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Please feel free to comment what your thoughts are on the first movie and all that, what you think of the positives, negatives. Love to read all those comments. And overall, just thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking it. And thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a good day.